welcome to Cinema Red Pill, a podcast about films. I'm Sharon, your host for today.
I'm Joel.
And I'm Timothy.
Okay, so we have had about 97 episodes so far, and they've all been in audio form, but now we're doing some video too. So if you're watching us, nice. If you're just listening, nice, but watch us also as well. We're going to give the videos a shot and see if this works out.
We'll get 5 views at least.
I think we will.
And also, we are not going to be weekly anymore. We're going to be doing every 2 weeks. So we've been on hiatus for a while, a couple of months since the last lockdown that we had in August last year of 2020. But we're back now and ready to do more episodes. On today's episode, we'll be talking about Loukman Ali's The Girl in the Yellow Jumper, which is available on Netflix. We'll put a link in the description. By now, a lot of people should have watched it. It gained like real mainstream success, which is really great for Ugandan filmmaker Loukman Ali. Well-known name now as well, which is very exciting.
International.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
International. It's really, really great to see this happen. This is the first Ugandan film to go on Netflix, which is also really dope. And let me just give an intro about the film and we shall start talking about it. Unless you guys have something about our hiatus you have to say.
No, it's good to be back. Bigger, longer, and uncut. Just like South Park.
Yeah, I mean Joel. South Park reference. Yeah, and I think I would say Joel has said everything. We're glad to be back and doing this podcast. I've been doing it for a while, and I think this is probably a natural progression for us to now start doing video, making the video content. So people who aren't necessarily entirely into just podcasts and audio can also get access to this content on YouTube. So excited.
And I would say so. Please be as harsh as possible in the comments. I mean, we're looking pretty dusty over here. Makeup, Batman. Anyway, dusty is synonymous with artsy.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, let's go with that. We're endearing. FYI, I had vowed never to do video, so I can't believe there are cameras in my face right now, but let's see how this goes. Anyway, Girl in the Yellow Jumper. It's a film about a man called Jim, who is played by Michael Wawuyo Jr. I'm saying it knowingly because Ugandans watching should know these people.
He is everything. I'm tired of you.
Right. Wawuyo Jr. is a well-known Ugandan actor. He's the lead character in this film. He's taken hostage by 2 women played by Rehema Namfuka and Gladys Oyembot, aka Jida.
Jida, yes.
And he escapes and hitches a ride from a policeman called Patrick, played by Maurice Kiria, super famous Ugandan musician. Patrick has a rider in the back seat who is played by Michael Wawuyo Sr., so family tree.
Family affair.
The man in the back seat claims to have witnessed one of the infamous cigarette butt killer murders. So the 3 of them take an eventful road trip where Jim tells them the shocking story about his kidnapping. That's the gist of the story. A film by Loukman Ali. Loukman, like we said, gained mainstream success. This is his 4th film, but his first feature film. He has had 3 short films which are all available on YouTube. Please check that out. We'll also link it in the description. He first did The Bad Mexican, then he had The Blind Date, and then recently not after the release, this is the latest, then he also had 16 Rounds. We've watched these films for sure. The films have also screened in festivals. These are really accessible films. You can watch them.
The fun fact, he did Bad Mexican then Girl in a Yellow Jumper,
Yeah.
and he threw it in his drawer.
Oh, yeah.
Then he first did these
Yeah,
other
I think
movies,
so.
and he
Yeah.
circled back, which I'm glad he released it.
Yeah, because I actually remember there being a lot of like the billboards up for
For
the movie.
April,
Yeah,
April
before
Was that before
2020.
Corona or-
yeah.
Corona
Yeah,
happened in
before
March.
the whole
Yeah.
pandemic.
And
So
yeah, there were posters about the film being released in the cinemas here in
Yeah.
Kampala, which was so exciting. I remember like
Yes.
the posters. His work is so visually intriguing,
Yeah.
so the posters were super
Yeah.
exciting to look at. But
Yeah.
but I think like the where it has ended up is also a good thing.
Yeah.
I think
It was
more
a
eyes
very
have seen.
good
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big jump.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. But
Yeah.
his films are. Yeah, we'll talk about them. I think in context, like as
Yeah.
we talk about Girl in the Yellow Jumper,
yeah.
it reminded me a lot already of his other short films. So that will be something that comes up. Let's start with story and character. What were your thoughts on that component of the film? I think Joel will start.
Yes.
What?
Because Joel has credits on the film. His name
Small
appears in the credit list. So yeah, let's start with you because you had and you were able to imagine those characters before they even went on the screen. So tell us all about
So
that.
no bias whatsoever. Best film ever made. Okay, story-wise, I'll say Loukman's definitely a guy that prioritizes style over substance, like for sure. And his style, he does it like so freaking well. His execution is brilliant. His cinematography is great. The color coordination. Not a lot of Ugandans are thinking the way he thinks about like composing a frame in general. He even does his own graphics and stuff, like the 4D and blah blah blah. Anyway, like the story is interesting. It's because it's a cartoonist, I think.
Yeah.
So he draws these cartoons. I think the way they set it up is like, oh, these cartoons have like offended, I guess, these people, and now he's been kidnapped. And we kind of launch into the story like a little late, which I like, and then we kind of try to backtrack. So you have this guy kind of hobbling on the highway in the middle of nowhere, who is like Michael Owuyo's character, Jim. Then he's picked up by Maurice Kiria, which, wow, that dude can actually act. Was I think the biggest takeaway of like the film for me. It's like you are actually good at acting, like genuinely.
Yeah.
I might have liked him actually a lot more than I did Michael Owuyo, this one.
Yeah.
So you have like Maurice Kiria playing this cop, and the cop like picks him up. This dude looks a little injured, and this guy starts like pumping him for information basically. Then they have a bunch of Tarantino-esque conversations for most of the thing, which has become like a signature Loukman thing as well. He always has these little anecdotes or like facts like in the dialogue. I think the only recent one I can remember is why a hummingbird can't watch TV or something. I don't know if that was like in movies.
That was in the blind date.
Yeah, I think it was in the blind date. So I think I forget what conversation they had in Yellow Jumper, but they have a conversation to that effect. And you have it like slowly unravel. What's supposed to be a simple like drop off and pick up, like I'm helping this guy in the way he need, sort of like just keeps unraveling. And it's revealed that this cartoonist was kidnapped by these two women, and there's a girl in the Yellow Jumper, I think played by, is it Rehema or Jida?
Rehema is the
Rehema.
Girl in the Yellow Jumper.
Rehema.
Jida is in the car most of the time.
Oh yeah, because Jida is the other chick.
Yes.
Yes. By the way, which by a killer combination. I didn't know
Right?
I wanted to see those two together
Yeah.
in anything. It's the powerhouses on their own.
Yeah.
So you have like Rehema and Jida basically torturing Michael Owuyo, which is an amazing situation to be in. Then you have pretty nice action, I would say.
Yeah.
Because they try to like bury him in a ditch alive, and then he kind of like psychs him out, and I think he's going to like figure his way out somehow. Blows him away with a shotgun, which I can't remember when I've ever seen a shotgun in UG, but it was great. They had one, and then he like escapes from these women. Then it's like we circle back to the plot of his with the cop. But then like the cop gets like a side call, like there's some trouble at home, and surprise, one of those women is related to him, And that becomes a whole thing. And I think that was my favorite action scene, actually.
Just warning, spoilers.
Oh, yeah, massive
You
spoilers.
had better
should
watch
have seen
the
it
film.
by
Yeah.
now.
Massive spoilers, yeah. So you have this dope scene where like breaks the door. We should just play a clip of that scene. Where it just like breaks the door down. I mean, it's just like more scary as a beast. He needs to act in more things, actually.
Yeah.
This become as annoying to watch in things as Michael Owiyo. That man is in everything. Especially in the Pal Magic ad.
I saw that one as well.
Everywhere.
Lookman directed it as well.
Yes.
In case they're giving him a hard time.
But he's that talented. I know
Yeah.
if you're talented to the point that you are knowing you're doing things well. Like how Loukman is doing all the ads in Uganda now.
Yo.
So it's becoming that annoying. I'm playing a mobile game, Loukman's ad pops up, he's everywhere.
Yeah.
So you have this dope scene, it breaks the door down, they arrest him again. And all the while you have this background thing of like the cigarette butt killer who you talked about, like in the background. It's like, oh, who is he? And since we're in spoiler territory already, there's like this old man, like at the back of it, in like the back seat the whole time. It's Michael Owiyo Senior, and he's revealed to be the cigarette butt killer. And he basically, like, I think he doesn't waste anyone. These guys waste themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Owiyo is reaching for a gun. These guys are reaching for a gun, blow themselves away.
He kills only the driver of the other car.
Yeah. And you know, I thought that was a decent enough twist as well, because Loukman set up a nice. He had an ABC story. I think, and it's also a criticism he's well aware of. Like in his movies are more like these long setups, like these really great setups, and it feels like the story is supposed to like take off, like somewhere else afterwards, but never quite like gets there. But I feel like I have anyway. I won't speak for others, but like I have so much fun just watching, and I think a lot of people actually have so much fun just watching his vision of things. Because even the music, that's another thing. I don't know which guys he gets from his music, but the music is
it's Quad A Productions.
I love the music selection, all that stuff. Especially 16 rounds. Yeah. Like that scene where a guy is like chopping up the dude in the bed. That song was dope. I don't know what song it was, but that song was dope. But yeah, you have it wrapping up. It's basically like a Tarantino movie. Everybody dies, which I personally don't like about Tarantino movies. Yeah. But yeah, this is a Loukman film. And I'm freely biased on this one, so I liked it this time.
This time?
Yes, this time.
The other times you didn't like.
No, like I don't like what's this first movie Tarantino did?
You're meaning
Reservoir Dogs?
Yeah, I mean like that's a Tarantino. Reservoir Dogs, the ending. I hate it. It's like you wasted my time.
No.
You wasted my time. Everybody dies the end. I hate movies that end like that completely. Here at least a cigarette butt killer is alive. Like someone is alive.
That's true.
Yeah, like I'll take that. But I feel like definitely worthy of being the first film to make it to Netflix. I mean, if anyone was going to make it at this point in time in the industry, I would say it's Loukman.
But he bypassed many people.
Yeah.
He started late.
Yes, he started late, but the nigga
just
has
come
That's the problem. And the thing is that he's also like very honest about his limitations. He's not a guy that tries to be any bigger than he actually is or no more than he actually does. Because if you talk to him now, he'll talk to you like he's still a learner. Like he's still just learning this kind of thing called film or whatever. But he's definitely ahead out of a lot of us, and I think because his visuals are so advanced, because he has the background he does in like animation and design and all that, I think that was a very useful skill like coming in. So yes, there might be a couple of people that still haven't beat like in script writing or like a couple of these other things.
You know, people are so critical of his writing, but I'm like, who is doing it well? You know, it's really quite questionable.
Very good question.
I don't know that there's someone out there
We'd have to
who is murdering us with story and structure.
Well, that's murdering us.
Yeah.
I'd say East Africa, even one is murdering us particularly. I mean, to the point that you're like, oh my god, you like.
There might be like a Wanori who like Rafiki who's
Yeah,
like
the
doing
Kenyans
cans.
have a lot
That's like
more
the next
names
level
and
for
stuff.
like
Yeah.
but that's,
Even Supermode, it
it's
has
not
like a
many
long list
people.
of writers, but they did a thing.
Those guys also had a lot of help. I won't say money.
yes.
I won't throw any more shade on that. But yeah. I thought that the story was good, especially for a first feature film. A lot of people wish their first feature film was this
Yeah.
good.
Right.
Yep.
So
Went straight to Netflix.
Exactly, straight to Netflix. So I do feel like he's also opened that door because I feel like Netflix East Africa may not necessarily have believed too much in Uganda. I feel like they would have been depending more like Kenya, maybe pulling something out, but like Uganda is like, you guys even have an industry. But now Loukman is an industry so far, so it's upon the rest of us to like catch up. But I do feel he has set a really good standard. I think a lot of young filmmakers as well that I talk to, like Loukman's a standard. Even older filmmakers, everyone is intimidated by him, and that's a good thing. Uganda needs competition.
And they're watching his things. Like we've been watching
They're
Ugandan films
studying
every
his
day.
things in Makere.
Right?
I saw that
imagine.
exam. There's a question about Loukman.
But the themes and motifs,
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
The way he has gained such mainstream success is so impressive.
Especially the mainstream. Oh yeah. Okay, I guess that's where I would say some people might have him beat. Now those obscure festival movies nobody ever watches.
Yeah.
Yes, there are a few people. Like I'll say, like is it Doreen? I forget her other name, but the chick who did like Nectar. That was a well-written like short film. You have like it was a well-written.
No, it was,
like,
but I don't think they have Loukman beat in any way.
But I don't think the comparison is fair.
I know
it's not. I know it's not
Also,
fair.
like the thing.
I'm talking about I'm talking in terms of style versus substance.
Yeah.
Because I'll say the style of Loukman's stories are very exciting, and that's why he has
I
mainstream
think
success.
Loukman's film, the only film that I would say, okay, proper comparison would be Rolex, because for what it's going for, even
Did
the
he
kind
do
of
Rolex?
film it
No,
is,
he didn't
do
do
Rolex.
Rolex.
But I think that's a film that is like by standard at all.
On par.
It's on par, the kind of film it is with the action and all of it.
Yeah,
I think.
guess,
but comparing his films to like Patience's films, it's
I guess I'm talking about, for me anyway, the substance of the stories themselves and the craft of the filmmaking. Not in terms of like visuals or whatever. Because Loukman has everyone beat on style. Like that is not an argument. I would say maybe the only competition, even though he needs to come back and do movies like Malcolm, Bijamano. He's a fantastic filmmaker, an amazing filmmaker. I think what was the last one he did? The one where the chick ate a dog. No. The one where the chick ate a dog by accident.
Maui.
Yeah, Maui.
Yeah.
Maui is like still one of my favorite just Ugandan films, period down. That felt like a Ugandan film. I think now in terms of comparisons, that's what I'd bring one up in terms of like storytelling. Malcolm would have him beat in that category. But now in terms of like, and Malcolm has style as well, so you can't like really argue. It's like apples and oranges at some point. But in terms of like accomplishments, mainstream appeal specifically, Loukman has them beat. Marketing especially is also another place I think Loukman is beating everybody. Because that man like single-handedly markets his film on social media, like all of them. Posting, getting free billboards. I don't know what friends he has that give him free billboards. He's a lucky dude. But he like pulls all the stops, gets his movies made. So he's doing a good job anyway. I don't think there's any shade thrown. So
Okay.
But I think we've over digressed. We're supposed to talk about story and characters.
No, still, we can always edit all this. So this is all content.
Yeah.
So great. Yeah, so I don't know about story. I think Joel has said pretty much most of the things. At least here you've laid out the premise and like the twists and everything. And I feel story-wise, I felt it was good, considering that Loukman had done mainly short films. And I kind of felt the difference because in a short film, like there's very little time to really develop a character, and sometimes even twists can feel very forced if you're doing like something that's 15 minutes or say something of the sort. But I feel with this one being about an hour and a half, right? I feel there was character development, and I feel even the twists, like there were a few twists just besides like the reveal of the cigarette butt killer. There's the Wawio's character when he first tells his side of the story about why he was kidnapped. Then you did after a while find out why he was actually kidnapped. He actually had defiled this young girl, and she basically died trying to have a child from him. So like the building up those twists, I feel worked very well in the short film format, in the long form format, the long format basically. And also another thing I would point on is, again, maybe it's also a bit to do with style, but again I felt like maybe this was born out of him having to, like, just working on the budgets we have to work on here in Uganda. Like, I like the idea that he had a lot of the conversation happening between the cop played by Maurice Kiria and Michael Wawio's character in the car. And for large parts, at least at the beginning, it does even at times feel like a road movie of sorts. So like, and like I feel that's something very hard to do. Like, it seems quite simple to just get people in a car and have them like just drive around talking, and the person actually sits and watches. But like, it's not that easy. And I feel like the whole time I was watching those scenes, like I wasn't like bored. I wasn't like looking away. Like, I was actually, which is a trick, and I thought was something very strong about the story in this film.
You've seen like all those people that try to imitate. You've seen like those bad student films that try to imitate Tarantino's style, and it's just boring. And again, you also mentioned how like he's very much into like Tarantino's style with like the dialogue, and they'll have all these analogies and alluding to different things, and I find that interesting the way he does it. And again, I think because he's working within the genre he's working in, because he's very much doing thrillers and crime dramas. So I feel like that, again, borrowing from like, Tarantino, Guy Ritchie, definitely works in his favor. And again, as you said, like there's really no one really doing it like that in Uganda, like doing it in that style. Usually the films are very, hyper realistic narratives about just day-to-day life and dramas, very melodramas. Whereas he's very much doing genre, and of course genre comes with all these things that have to go with it, like there's a villain, there are the twists and all that. But I feel he kind of hit all those notes the right way. And there are things that could maybe have been improved or even tightened, but I think for what it was, I think, and it being his first feature film, I think it was a good story. It was a good story in my opinion. Best for last.
I feel like Loukman really, he wears his influences on his sleeve with Tarantino. Although to me it feels like he specifically likes The Hateful Eight more than anything else, and also because even the font he has chosen is the Hateful Eight font, and he has kind of stuck to it with the new films that he's doing. And then in The Blind Date, they are watching The Hateful Eight, and the riddles are a lot more in The Hateful Eight.
Oh really?
He really,
I think my brain assumed that's Tarantino.
No, he is so on The Hateful Eight. I'm like, I don't know if he will ever do another style, like, because Tarantino changes. He just did Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which was, it had a gory scene. He's even more known for gore, if anything.
I think the way I look at it is like how Tarantino apes B-movies. And Loukman likes to ape Tarantino as a genre. So,
and not even Tarantino alone. I also feel there's a lot of Guy Ritchie in his
Guy Ritchie. Who's the person that did Fargo?
The Coen brothers.
No, he had like a Fargo CD in the back.
That's true.
One of his influences on the screen.
And I think he has a specific style which he's doing, and he's doing well. When he's compared to the other people who have been existing, I just don't think it counts, because they're not trying for the action type he's going for. It feels to me like comparing who's good at action? Michael Bay is not the greatest
Comparing
example.
Marvel
Like
movies
a Marvel movie
and like
to
some Sundance
being the
indie
Ricardos.
flick.
They're their own movies in their own right.
Yeah.
So he has this thing and he's doing
Wouldn't you
really
compare
well.
Logan to being the Ricardos and they go head to head in the screenplay?
I haven't seen
Head
Being
to
the
head.
Ricardos yet.
Head to head.
And at least even Logan is a little toned down.
Yeah.
Loukman, it goes big and he's even going bigger.
Yeah.
With 16 rounds, he's even bigger than any. Like it's like, oh, where is he going next? You know. So I don't think,
I'm excited.
and most people aren't really going for that. Indeed, people really do a lot of the dramas. I don't even think it compares to Maui because Maui is like
Maui is a
such
thriller,
a
man.
I don't
It's
think
like-
I remember it
It's
as
like
well.
a murder thriller.
Yeah, but-
because this chick is plotting to poison her friend who slept with her husband.
Yeah.
But he tells it almost Ugandan storytelling style. Like, oh, let me first go back and tell you what happened here. Let me first go back and... Now for me, that was like genre bending stuff. That's like stuff I feel we've talked about theoretically, like as filmmakers in groups sometimes, of like, how would you, like, what would the Ugandan style of a story look like? And I felt like Malcolm nailed it. Like for me, that was like something completely new. Like the closest I've seen to that is like that one character in Ant-Man. Who's that Latino actor?
Oh yeah.
Who like kept,
Michael
like,
Peña.
Yeah, okay, telling me funny stories.
Yeah,
of like,
yeah.
my cousin's best friends, did this. But like for him to nail a movie like that and have like a dark thriller twist to it, because it ended in bloody murder. Like the chick just drank coffee, choked on it, died.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I feel I'll take back the other comparisons I made, but I feel like Malcolm, I feel like Maui is a fair comparison just from the storytelling perspective, because Maui definitely leans more on the power of the story in its movie. Loukman leans more on the power of the action and the style.
Yeah.
Which is
fair.
strange also because the amount of dialogue he puts in his films is astounding and it's a lot, and I don't think it needs to be that much. I wish he would do a little less.
Yeah.
But and the fact that his visuals are even that strong, I think and I think that's a bit more control with, like, Malcolm is a bit more controlled on that.
Yes, a bit more content.
Also, I just want to maybe point out another thing of like, we usually talk about it, but like the character driven and plot driven. And I feel most Ugandans, even Malcolm, I feel they're very much character driven. Like there's where they build the characters, and the story really revolves around particular characters and what they are like. Whereas I feel with Loukman, it's very much plot driven, but because he's doing a feature, I feel even his characters had a bit of room to grow as well. So I feel he kind of like got the best of both worlds. It's very plot driven, but again, you get a bit more from the characters than we usually maybe get from, say, the short films he has done in the past.
Because it's more like he takes the outline of the character and just builds it up to this spectacular level, like as big as it can go. Almost like it's almost like crafting a superhero versus like some deep drama, like deeply layered character. So it is apples and oranges. So it's I'm definitely not saying either is better than the other. Just saying it's interesting to have, like, I'd really love to have these two things exist and be prominent in both their own rights. But what Loukman does, he does well.
Are we stalking director beef?
Properly.
Will be like team this or team that?
His music tour.
I think I'm not going to try to, because we've already talked even a lot about visuals and stuff with him. I think we can just continue because it will. But there's something I wanted to talk about that I think is something I actually didn't like, which was the explainer video that comes on twice with the Black American actor Rwakatungu.
Yes.
That transition threw me off. And the animation is cute because I've seen people really react to liking the animation and it's cute. But it was jarring and a little off for me. And I think, like, films say that do it. The film that did it by the guy who did Don't Look Up. But it was such a central thing. What did you remember his name? Adam McKay has done that, has used that gag before, and but he uses it throughout, and it's like a part of the film. This felt off for me. I found it jarring every single twice. It comes on only twice. I don't know what you guys thought of that choice.
I think might just also be my bias or whatever, but I kind of just rounded it off like the same way I watch Tarantino movies themselves. I just kind of see it as like, I'm watching a really, really good B movie when I'm watching Tarantino stuff. So because he's taking influences from that dude,
that doesn't count.
No, because I'm talking B movies. I'm talking like Sharknado levels of things. And random ideas like that, like pop up. So the way I enjoyed it, because I do agree with like your criticism of like, yes, it is jarring and all of that, but for me within the genre, like as far as like, because B movies feel like directors, especially with thriller ones like this that are exciting, sometimes it feels like directors just throw in like whatever idea they think is cool, whether it makes sense or melds with like the rest of the thing, they'll throw it in there. So I just kind of appreciated it on that more behind the scenes level of things. I was like, okay, this is interesting, because I didn't particularly like it either. And of course, like, no shade against the guys all doing announcements, but in my head I was like, why couldn't like a Ugandan guy?
Right, because listening to him talk, say the Luganda words was also jarring. I'm like, maybe like, because he's a famous guy, he's in Empire, he even has a role in P-Valley, which I really like. But I'm like,
so for me it was just because those would be like Patton Oswalt, for instance, has like a bunch of cameos in really crappy B movies. So it's just like, there's Patton Oswalt and he's explaining something and then he's gone. It's like, that was a big
It's becoming
cameo.
his own trope.
So it's like, okay, that was a big cameo. It didn't hurt anyone. The animation is good. So I just kind of moved on with that. And I think it does also speak a lot to Loukman if that's the primary thing you had an issue with.
It's not the primary
thing.
It's just it stood out for me as the thing I had an issue with. But it speaks to him in what way? Like it being small?
No. In terms of like the issues, because if you graduate from normal issues of the sound is bad. Like the regular Ugandan problems.
We've come from far. But I didn't have many issues. I think the only thing that stood out to me, I don't even
with
think
that particular
no, not with the cutaway.
No, because I think for me the only issue with that would be, as you said, like the person who's doing the narration, because I really wish she had found a way to weave it in that it's like either the cop or Wawuyo actually being the one in some
way. Or maybe like a random famous Ugandan.
Yeah, just somehow.
And it
was
gotten like bad black.
For me it was more of the person.
Like it would be a fun cameo for us.
Exactly. For me it was that.
That's just the see me like
that would be like funny, it would be like someone who has played
and the context understands would add something to it, even just in the way they say things.
True. And that I think that was what even made it a lot more jarring.
Me it was
and I like Black Americans being involved in other things, but so I felt bad about not liking that.
I mean, it's not enough also for an international audience.
To lend his image, to lend his image to your film, like it's something I think Loukman couldn't really like let go, because this is like someone's just ups your film just that little bit, because you have you have a B-list celebrity in your film.
I shade, man.
Joel, I want to repeat what you said about Maurice Kiria. I think he's genuinely better than Wawuyo in this film, like full on better than him, and it killed. Man. He was completely different. Him with his guitar, like that's how you picture him all the time.
Like
so to see him like this was dope. Even his face, he did such a good job. And but then also I think it's a bias because we've seen Wawuyo so much. But I'm happy for him. I've talked to him before. He's on episode 28 of this podcast. So listen to that interview. And he was so frustrated at that time because he was like, I'm in laptop movies. Like people are just not seeing I'm acting my ass off. I'm a method actor. He's very inspired by the Daniel
I
Day-Lewis
can tell.
thing.
Yeah.
What? That
Yeah.
man is doing the work. He was
Yeah.
playing like a cancer patient and he went to Mulago. Things,
Yeah.
guys.
Right.
And then your movie ends up on a laptop.
It doesn't-
Right?
Yeah.
It screens once in the National Theatre and that's it.
Yeah.
That one screening, that's just not enough for anyone. So this that Loukman has done for him, probably
Yes.
I'm happy.
I'm only because I say he's annoying in a very endearing
In a very
way.
endearing way.
Yeah, he's annoying the way Dwayne Johnson is annoying. In
The thing
movies
is,
now.
many people have expressed this view because
Yeah.
all people talked about this movie on Twitter for days.
Which
Wow.
which view?
this
Which one?
this
Yellow
the
jumper.
girl on the yellow jumper,
Yeah.
and it was also like a criticism of same actors.
No, but I think even directors usually
Yeah.
like Hollywood, there's always that combination.
Yeah,
Like
he's just-
Scorsese has the people he has worked with his whole career. Other guys have people that have put in pretty much. Tarantino is always doing it with Samuel L. Jackson. So maybe it's like just the birth of like just a very good creative like relationship. Like maybe Loukman feels that
That's what
he
it
writes
is.
really good roles and this guy nails my part, so I'll keep
And
giving him
if you
more.
have that center
Yes.
person nailing
Yeah,
it, then
nailing it, you can build around,
You can
yeah.
build around
Yes.
them more people.
Yeah.
And also, he's not spreading the love because he's really working with different
Yes,
people every
yeah.
single time,
Yes,
which is
yes.
also super cool. Just one more thing. So plot wise, I like how you said that in the end there's something off, right? There's a way his endings can be a bit off. Like, I don't know, maybe the anticipation is more than the result. But I don't know if that's how I can describe that feeling.
It's more like setup payoff.
Yeah, the payoff isn't great.
Yeah.
So I found the ending not ideal. I think I liked the cigarette butt killer and it being Wawuyo Senior, who is amazing. That man is beyond. Like when I saw him, I'm like, of course he has a significant role.
You can't just be
Not
chilling
just
there.
Wawuyo Senior sit at
Yeah.
the back of the car and being nobody.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I liked his ending. I think the child abuse thing was
That was dark.
was dark, yet it's not that they don't treat it like it's a dark thing, but I don't know.
Like,
I think it's.
motivation wise, you don't think it's a strong
I
enough
think
motivation?
I think the tone of the film,
Yeah.
for starters, doesn't work with that much
With
of
the
a dark
subject
plot.
matter.
Yeah, like, yeah.
I mean, the dude has been kidnapped, so you'd have
Yeah, and you spend so much time with him in a different light,
Yeah.
and by the end, it even doesn't feel like a revenge on him for
Okay,
the
I
bad
get-
thing he has done.
I get what you mean. He got
So
off too
with
light.
how bad his crime is, the film itself,
Yeah.
the way it treats it, and also the tone it has had the entire time,
Yeah.
it doesn't match for me to have that big a thing because it is beyond.
Yeah, I hadn't
right?
thought of that, but I think
Yeah.
it's valid.
Because I feel maybe what he was trying to go for that may not have quite landed. Because Tarantino, like again, you reference Hateful Eight. I only keep saying Tarantino because, but like you reference Hateful Eight, you have a bunch of hateful characters. Basically, there's no like it's pretty much pick your protagonist. You pick the worst of all evil, like the best of all evils, basically. And I think the setup was supposed to be like, you know, these guys are horrible murderers, like vigilante murderers themselves. And then you have this guy being like a horrible child molester. So I did like the twist of he's a child molester because it did make me feel like slimy and creepy about like empathizing with him in any way before. And it made it even slimier, like how much he's trying to convince you he's like, I'm a nice, like those Mr. Nice guys, like desperately trying to convince you I'm such a nice guy. But then they have this underbelly of just rot like beneath them. What I'll say is maybe where he missed in like making that sit of like these are all hateful characters and they all kill themselves in the end, so it's kind of fine and satisfactory, is maybe we needed to see some of the more hateful things that Kyria and his people had done.
That would help.
Yeah, we needed to see them
help.
like cross some kind of moral line where like, okay, we're like behind you like killing this molester, but now you're doing like you crossed the line with this other person.
Yeah.
Kind of like what they do in like properties like The Boys and stuff. What's like, or like with like a character like Punisher in the Marvel series, like kill the rapist, kill the murderer, but then it's just like I'm gonna kill you for littering. Punisher doesn't kill anyone for littering, but it's like having a character that does that. It's like okay, you're littering, dead. Then you're like, I think maybe now you're pushing it a bit. I think if we had that, we might have felt more of that balance.
I think so.
End.
It would help.
Because now it feels like the Kyrias are more in the right still morally than this other guy is. So I get that criticism.
Tim, do you have something to add? I feel like
no. I don't. You guys are pretty much.
There's something I want to say in addition.
Yeah.
I feel like I was tricked and bamboozled with the film title.
Yeah, the girl in the yellow jumper.
There was a girl in the yellow jumper.
She is insignificant.
Yeah, she's like
simply too insignificant to be the titular title.
Yeah. So she touched at the guy.
First of all, she even died.
She was in all the promo images.
Jida was the one in the yellow jumper. Should have come more purpose. Yeah. These women are not very significant. Like I'm like that girl there. And then and the posters would have Jida there. They would also have Bawio. I'm like, what is no? It had Nafoka Rehema. So I'm like, what is this woman up to? Even the mask, like the mask, when it eventually shows up, it is really an investigative scene. It's so insignificant. I'm like, I thought this mask had one.
But I guess
this marketing tricked.
I guess that's where then maybe the story might have benefited from more scenes developing them than like the long stretches of dialogue we had with Kyria and whatever. Maybe some runtime was given like setting them up. The shit they do, that might have been but yeah, it's a fair criticism.
The guy in the yellow jumper wasn't the main character.
She is insignificant. The yellow jumper itself is the girl and the yellow jumper are not very significant to this film at all. I was like, wow, okay. But I don't know if you guys have any additional thing to say. Tim, you're sure you have nothing to add?
No, I think I don't really have any strong opinions. I'm just really happy that there's a Ugandan film on Netflix and it's as good as the one Loukman put out, because you see out of the other films from other parts of the world and like they have all that hype, but I'm like and I feel like Loukman's again in line with what a Netflix is looking for. I feel like it was just like a really good placement.
Yeah, filmmakers, they don't want your dramas. Dramas, people crying, they don't want that stuff.
One more you do them as long as they're nice.
As long as it's true to you. Just be true to yourself.
I guess my final words would be I am glad we have graduated to this place of problems. I'm so happy to be talking about a Ugandan film like this. I think I said the same about Imperial Blue, which is also
I don't know if that one is out yet.
I didn't say shit. That's all them. So like now with this one as well, it's nice to graduate to the level where we're not like discussing the technicals as a weakness in the film. I'm so happy. So for me to think of any Ugandan film, because I feel like this one was like a strong between 6 and 7 out of 10 for me. Like easily, I genuinely had a good time watching this. So first to graduate like international standards, talk about it that way. Like we have definitely come to a very good place. I want people to talk about more Ugandan films this way.
This is really cool, and the fact that it's not funded in some of the obvious ways. We know that films get funded.
That's
this
true.
is
The NGO model.
The NGO that are begging for money from white people model. It's not cute. It's like almost the only way to do it. And this film has gotten there without that help that we know of. At least. So it's really cool.
It has been sheer willpower and goodwill. Because I can't, unless you other guys were paid, man, I wasn't. But it was like sheer, like goodwill, and like he pushed his project all the way to the end. Because even when you're talking scripts, I guess what I also wanted to say, Loukman for me is also like more of an intuitive filmmaker. And for me, I'd have a panic attack, like trying to approach a movie that way. But like he basically constructs them in a visual way. So he'll draw out the storyboard.
Wow.
So he'll have pages and pages. He'll have the full film drawn out of like these are the scenes. This is what it will look like.
Yeah.
And this is what is going to happen. Then like the dialogue and stuff, he figures that out kind of later and as he goes. Whereas like traditionally people are like, okay, let's structure, make sure it's the beginning, middle, end, Him is like, I'm watching the movie in my head.
Nice.
Fast. Yeah. And I think it's like that, who's that anime guy we reviewed? On Charity made you watch more movies of
Miyazaki.
Yeah, Miyazaki. Yeah, Miyazaki like approaches his movies the same way as well. He just kind of visually plots them out. And then gets into the rest like that, and somehow it all comes together at the end. So I know Loukman is definite because he has had. You said he has made how many films now?
There are 4 in total. 1 feature.
Yo, out of 4 movies to have a film on Netflix.
Your first feature.
Yeah. What can you say?
Nothing better.
What can you say?
Well done. Well done.
Okay. Nothing, Tim, still?
No, nothing. I'm good.
Okay, so that was it. We have talked about The Girl in the Yellow Jumper by Loukman Ali. This is our first video.
Yep.
I hope we did well.
Through.
I hope our facial expressions were okay. And I hope you enjoyed watching.
5 views and we'll make another.
5.
We have no standards. No standards on the show.
Yep.
Wow. Anyway, this video is on YouTube. The podcast on audio only version will be on podcast channels on AnchorFM, Spotify, all the other places,
iTunes,
Google Podcast, iTunes. It's all there. So check it out if you want more audio. We have 97 episodes in audio only. So there's lots to listen to. That's it. Thanks for watching and listening. I'm Sharon.
I'm Joel.
And I'm Timothy.
Bye. A real wave. I have a glove.
You have a glove. Okay. Should have done more with that glove in this video.